Alright, here we are back for episode 4 of Quirks of Living in Latin America, or at least Honduras. We are on the road to Tegucigalpa, or Tegus as the locals call it. This is the main highway between San Pedro Sula, which is the second largest city in Honduras, and there are the pups. Gotta get a shot of the pups in there. And then Tegus, which is the largest city in Honduras. It was 4 lanes a little while back, but right now, I guess there's not enough populace right here, so it's a 2-lane with lots of passing and twists and turns right now, because we're in kind of mountainous country. We're out of the tropical area, close to the beach. We've probably driven about an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. The rest of the time, it's been 3 hours since we left Tela. The rest of the time, I was getting some stuff done. Stella got her rabies vaccination updated because that expired a couple months ago, and we need that renewed before she leaves the country. And then the other thing was oil change. So got the oil changed, and I feel much better about the car. It had been 5,800 miles since the last oil change, which was just before I left from Stanford. So come a long way. Driven a bit since I've been down here, but the vast majority of that was on the trip down, of course. And when he was doing the oil change, I was able to take a look under the car and knock on some things, and nothing's too terribly loose. So despite all the huge tumulos I've been going over and the scrapes against the bottom of the car, especially in Guatemala, but in Honduras, almost said también, in Honduras also, it's doing okay down there. I'm getting a little power drop issue. That could be the spark plugs, or it could be something else. I don't get even acceleration, especially if I'm going quickly or trying to accelerate quickly. And but we're not going to worry about that just yet. Hopefully it'll hang out until after I get back. So far, oh, you guys have got to see this. That is a biker hanging on to the back of an 18-wheeler. I've seen it before on. They do this all the time. This is one of the things I wanted to mention. They have a bike hang on to a moto, a motorbike, and that happens all the time. That's the sort of thing you just see a bunch of kids do up north. But down here, it's everyday occurrence. But I don't think I'd ever seen one hang on to a truck before. He was probably just doing it for a bit, not for the whole ride. All right. So. Couple other things. The reason I thought I could get away with, and thus far have, not having a plate on the front of my car is because but a lot of cars down here don't have any plates at all. Because apparently the motor vehicle registration department is terrible about getting license plates out. And so they probably have some sort of temporary paperwork in their car, probably. But I would say probably 10 to 20% of the cars down here, maybe 10% of the cars down here, just don't have license plates. So I figured I could get away with it. I almost thought about taking the back one off, just to make myself feel less of a target, but I wasn't sure if they target no plates more than people with plates. So I figured I'd just take the front one off, and that just gives them a few less seconds to decide they want to stop me because I'm a gringo. So they don't see it in the front, and they see the Connecticut plate in the back, and they think, but if they don't have more than a split second to blow the whistle and pull me over, that'll be all right. All right, so that was that thought. Another thing I was thinking about telling you guys is there is a lot of remnants of more dangerous times down here, and you see it a lot with the houses, the protection level of the houses. almost all of it is old. We're talking barbed wire, razor wire, electric fences, high fences in general, a lot of them concrete, putting crushed glass on the top of those concrete fences. All this sort of stuff is on the older side, except, there's an exception, I'll get to that, but that's from, say, the 80s, the 90s, when things were real bad down here, maybe even a little bit more recently, but it doesn't seem necessary, at least where I live. I'm sure it's a little different in San Pedro and Tegus, La Ceiba, but it's not that bad where I am, to the point where I would think people actually need these. The exception being the people who, and this happens a lot, people with money decide to build a big ass house in the middle of, sorry about that, in the middle of a poor neighborhood, or a middle class to poor neighborhood, and so they put these, they're really ostentatious, and there's this really nice looking house, and then they have to put all these huge walls and razor wire and electric fence around it, and that stuff is actually new, because they're building these ridiculous houses in the middle of people who have nothing. So that I can sort of agree with them possibly needing it, because the people around them just have so much less than what they have, but it's pretty ridiculous. It doesn't happen quite so much in other areas, I don't think, because other areas, other cities have colonies, these sort of gated communities, and that's where the richer people go. But in Tela, they're sort of standalone, or they'll be kind of clusters, but they'll still have their own protection. So that's kind of interesting. All right, that's all for now, and I'll catch you guys later.